What's it like to stay in Costa Teguise in Lanzarote? Well, that's where we are today. And behind me is the hotel that Mrs. E and I have been staying in for the last week or so. It's called the Meliá Paradisus Salinas Lanzarote Hotel. It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? And we've already done a review of the hotel. The hotel is superb. But today, I thought we'd have a wander round the resort of Costa Teguise, show you some of the restaurants, some of the bars, some of the shops, and the beaches and the water sports that are available. I do hope you'll join me. So let's head into Costa Teguise. It's worth pointing out that this hotel is historically significant. It was the first hotel that opened here in Costa Teguise, built back in the mid-1970s and designed by the renowned architect Fernando Higueras. And the swimming pool area and the landscaping was done by a local artist called Cesar Manrique. Now, it might look like a bit of a concrete monstrosity, but it's sort of beautiful. It's brutalism, isn't it? And it was described at the time as being poetry in concrete, and having stayed there, I think I would agree with that. The beach in front of the hotel is called Playa de los Charcos, and it's one of 4 beaches in the Costa Teguise resort. The views are pretty special, looking out towards the sea. These sunbeds here are for the guests of the hotel only, and doesn't look like anybody's availing themselves of this part of the hospitality today. Obviously, Lanzarote is a volcanic island, hence all the volcanic rocks. But unlike Tenerife, there are some golden sandy beaches like this one, whereas in Tenerife you tend to find all the sand is black. So let's go and have a wander along the seafront. Back up onto the promenade, I think. They use a flag system for safety down here on the beach. Today everything's fine. It's a green flag and it's hardly blowing at all. There's no wind and the sea is almost completely calm. However, it has been quite windy over the last week, and I have seen the yellow flag and even the red flag out. In the first of many little commercial centres, there's a bouncy ride for the kids, a supermarket and an Indian restaurant. Decent prices here, $6.50 for an English breakfast, and even the cocktails, which you could probably have with your breakfast, seem reasonable. Espresso martini, €7. The obligatory excursion centre and seafront supermarket. This is Playa de las Chucaras, which is the largest of the beaches here in Costa Teguise. In Lanzarote, there are 3 main tourist resorts. The biggest, the busiest, and the most bustling is Puerto Del Carmen. Costa Teguise is described as a little bit more tranquil, perhaps a little bit more family-orientated. And the third one, and the smallest, is Playa Blanca, which is labelled to be much more laid back. Have you been to any of those others? Let me know down in the comments. These volcanic rock breakwaters are a fabulous, if precarious, way to walk out and see the views. I'm really glad that I had my trainers on to negotiate those rocks. Really wouldn't like to try it in flip-flops. concierge in the hotel recommended this restaurant to me and Mrs. E, Pescara, or is it Pesquera? He said the food here is very good and its location right down on the promenade makes it great for sunsets. Yeah, that's a pretty impressive series of tapas there, from between €5 and €10, and even the pizzas look quite reasonably priced. What do you think of these seafront properties? They actually look really nice, don't they? Well, it could get a little bit noisy down here at night, but the views would be fabulous from those balconies. At the end of the promenade is Jebel cocktail bar, Bloody Marys, coffees, pictures. And I think this leads us to a more sizable commercial centre right on the edge of the beach. That's the second Indian restaurant called Namaste that we've seen today. That's an original name for a bar, isn't it? The Beach Bar. Breakfast from €3.50. Try our best burgers. Juicy, flavourful, unforgettable. Do you think they're really as big as that? Hennessy's with a Guinness sign, one of many Irish pubs and bars here in Costa Teguise. Great view there back along the beach to the Paradisus Salinas Hotel on the headland over there. Oh, there's a very slight cool breeze, which is most welcome as it is really quite hot today. We're at the end of October and it must be 24, 25 degrees here. More Irish bars, the Irish Bailey, the Dolphin Inn and the Cutty Sark. Yeah, I bet it's really busy down here at the evening. All right, what sort of bird is that? I saw some of those in the trees at the hotel last night. Is it an egret or something? Well, I left Mrs. E chilling back at the hotel and it's 12:30 and I know that that's beer o'clock and I know that she'll have been to the bar, so I thought I'd have a quick break here in this Irish bar. Not Guinness, San Miguel. We're in Spain after all. Cheers. There's that bird again. €1.85 for half a pint of beer, which means that a pint is going to be less than €4 here. Certainly a lot cheaper than Edinburgh. Now, I think that this long pier ahead of me, with the weird monument things at the end, are where a lot of the water sports like banana boats and jet skis go from. So let's go and have a look along there. Oh, actually, do you know what? Look at that. This is the first time that I've got a wider panoramic view of the mountains here in Lanzarote. Look at those volcanic peaks. There's again a strange sort of ethereal beauty about it all, isn't there? Not sure what these guys are up to with their red swimming costumes on. Look, there goes one of those sort of banana boat scoot around things. What are these? Dune buggies? Maverick Trail? And here's that monument-looking thing here at the end of the pier. Looks like there are some of these jeep safaris or whatever they're called, safaris, returning from wherever they've been. There's a hell of a lot of dust involved in that, though, so I must imagine they go quite deep into the volcanic areas. Well, that's the main promenade strip here at Costa Teguise, and it's taken us probably about an hour to walk from the hotel to here, including popping in and out of all the nooks and crannies. And now we're going to walk around this headland and head back into the town centre to see the bars, restaurants, shops and entertainment that's available there. As we head round the headland, you can see right over there, that's the town of Arrecife, the main town in Lanzarote. And I think I can see an absolutely colossal cruise liner moored there at the dock. That is colossal. It's even taller than our hotel. Interesting to see the different architectural styles of some of these hotels and apartments. This one looks very traditional Spanish with archways and turrets, whereas that one over there is very much along the lines of the one we're staying in, more concrete. That's Playa Jablillo, a very small, sandy and quite rocky beach. One thing I am very impressed with here in Costa Teguise is how mobility friendly it is. We've seen loads of places where you can hire mobility scooters and those normal electric scooters as well. And there are loads of ramps and slopes to make it easy for people to get about. Here's the final of the 4 beaches of Costa Teguise, Playa la Bastián. This is more of your traditional Canary Island beach, darker sand, not quite black like Tenerife, but much darker than we saw earlier. All right, back into town, I think, where it might be beer o'clock again. And this is La Plaza Tandarina. There are some really lively bars, restaurants and cafes in this section of the resort. But we've come at lunchtime, so it's not going to be as busy and as noisy as it will get tonight. Gives us a proper chance to have a look round. Big Bob's Bar and American Diner. Does it ever feel a bit weird that we come to Spain and all we see are American diners and Irish pubs? Well, I guess that's what us holidaymakers prefer. Retro bar, Modas Milano. It's funny, it's like a ghost town at this time of day. Live music bar, I bet this place is heaving of an evening. Yep, Ireland's Eye live music, Costa Teguise. This is a pleasant little square. I think this is where we'll have our second beer. Oh, I see a sign over there saying beer, large beer, €2.50. Sounds like a plan. This is called the TikTok bar. I bet it's not named after the social media site. Oh, that is ice cold. I can feel it. The glass is freezing cold as well. Cheers. It is so warm this afternoon. I'm really ready for this. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. Oh, that beer really hit the spot. All right, let's head out of this complex. And I think we're going to head back towards the beach now. Do you know, I can't resist stopping and having a look at the menu in some of these places. El Patio, fillet steak, €20. That's really cheap compared to what we pay in the UK. Being an Edinburgh resident, I get really embarrassed by some of the ridiculously high prices that tourists to our city have to pay. When you compare it to places like this, some parts of the UK truly are a rip-off, and I wish there was something that us consumers could do about it. Oh look, that's what they were. Don't miss the RZR, Maverick Aventura Lanza Buggy. There you go. Has anybody done that? This resort is remarkably clean and tidy. I am actually quite impressed. And I think the description of Costa Teguise that I gave you earlier on, it's a little bit more tranquil than Puerto Del Carmen, certainly hits the spot, I think. Look at this tapas restaurant here, love it. Canary and potatoes, I love those with the hot sauce on top. Papas bravas, fried whole squid, duck cannelloni. Might be worth a trip along the promenade tonight for a meal in here. Back onto the promenade for the not too long walk back to the Paradisus Salinas Hotel, where Mrs. E will no doubt be waiting for me with another ice cold beer. Actually, would it be cheeky for me to text ahead and get me one in? Well, we're almost back where we started here at the Meliá Paradisus Salinas Hotel here in Lanzarote. Tell me down below in the comments, what did you think of Costa Teguise, the resort? I think it's really nice and compact, very pretty, and obviously very family orientated, which is a bit of a contradiction given that the hotel that we're staying in is an adults only hotel. If you're looking for somewhere a little bit more lively, perhaps with a few more clubs, then probably try out Puerto Del Carmen. But Mrs. E and I have loved it here in Costa Teguise. Thank you so much for watching the video. Until the next one, remember, there's always something to see. So get out there and film it. Motivos